You know what that means? That means it's our Thursday Thriller Thursday. We haven't decided really. Live stream. We go back and forth. Let us know what you like. Welcome to Dread Alert. For those of you who are new here, I'm
I'm
Vince.
Sarah.
And this live stream is basically for us to talk about news, what we've been watching, and a little bit of horror trivia.
Yes.
So we're doing some ad hoc reviewing. We're talking about all the stuff that happened. This week was a busy week.
It was very busy.
Yeah, and if there's time, you know, we do have a little one. We have a spooky baby, and if she wakes up, sometimes we got to jump off. But
Yeah.
if there's time, we might play this cool horror trivia game that we got.
Yes.
Today we are repping a few cool movie props. We did a Spirit Halloween haul just for this live stream because we wanted to share some cool stuff with you. We got some trick or treat movie prop replicas,
Yeah.
and we got some Terrifier glasses. Why do we have trick or treat and Terrifier, Sarah?
Because those are the first two movies that we watched for the 31 Days of
They're the
Halloween.
first and the third. You're forgetting about Hellfest.
Oh, that's right.
Unfortunately, our studio can't fit a roller coaster or a full haunt.
That's right.
And they don't have any good Hellfest merch, unfortunately.
No. Yeah, no Hellfest merch.
But we watched Trick or Treat first.
Yes.
And we watched Terrifier today.
Yeah.
We have seen both of these movies a number of times.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But it's always good to revisit some stuff
Yeah.
for the spooky season. Trick or Treat is one of our annual traditions.
It is.
And Terrifier, we wanted to cover it with you all early because you really can't leave your house without running into some sort of Art the Clown merchandise, memorabilia. We got an Art the Clown Art Crispies tumbler here.
Yep.
Typically sold at Spirit Halloween. Pro tip, if you're looking for one of these, check your Spencer's. Check your local Spencer's Gifts. Now, I didn't realize, call me a fool, I didn't realize that Spencer's owned Spirit Halloween. I figured somebody had to own them. They can't be operating like that all year round.
Right.
But I had figured someone had to own them. I didn't know it was Spencer's. But they have a ton of great art memorabilia in Spencer's Gifts.
Yeah.
And that's where I found this highly sought after Art Crispies tumbler. Now, we were in Spirit.
I should have brought down my little Chucky shadow box.
They have these great Child's Play
Maybe
2
next
shadow
week
boxes.
I
They
will
say,
show off my shadow box.
right? They have like little lights and it says now showing. It's like the little shadow boxes that you would see at your local movie theater. They're fantastic.
It's very, very cool.
Absolutely. Honestly, like I'm not above trying to fit one in the Nerd Nook here in the studio. Although I think I'm almost
I think you're
out
almost
of space. We might have to start cycling through stuff.
Yeah.
The door over there has some good space that's not being used. It's not
Yeah.
entirely full yet.
But yeah, if you're looking for things that you can't find at Spirit, sometimes Spencer's will have what you need.
We were in store today and we actually heard someone say, "Oh, the truck was delayed. He almost ran someone off the road. She called the police." I don't know if you were ever hearing all of this.
No.
Regardless of that, the truck had an art animatronic on it, and we were like, I was this close. I was this close to waiting around to seeing when they were going to unload that truck.
You had your opportunity.
I did. We walked out of a Spirit Halloween without an art animatronic, and now I'm like kind of kicking myself.
That's his fault.
But you know, we have to be a little budget conscious. We're going to Scarefest in a couple weeks. We're heading down to Kentucky to go to Scarefest in a couple of weeks. So we kind of, if we want to meet all the people we want to meet, it might be Dick Warlock's last go.
Hello.
Oh, hey, excellent. Hey, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. We really appreciate your comments. We really appreciate your support. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Scarefest is coming up in a few weeks.
It might be Dick Warlock's last ride. It might be Clive Barker's last ride.
Well, I was going to say the first bit of news, unfortunately, that we got this week, it's not on here, but Ken Page,
the voice of Oogie Boogie. If you're Broadway fans like we are, I don't know, we ran a theater company for like a decade or longer. And so we were really ingrained in the theater community. Ken Page meant a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah, and he sadly passed away on the 30th, and he was going to be at Scarefest, and Spooky Baby is very much into Nightmare Before Christmas right now.
Yeah. One of her first words was Jack, which, I mean, she got Mama and Dada out of the way, so I'm not totally jealous.
Right.
But Jack was on the list.
But yeah, so that's unfortunately the first bit of news, and I figured I would get that out of the way and as we move into some more.
Well, we're going to move on to something not nearly as sad, but also sad.
Oh, yeah.
First up, we have
that the Chucky cast is hoping that things are going to be shopped to other networks. If you didn't catch our Saturday live stream because we had technical issues on Thursday, one of the first things that we shared was that Chucky did get canceled. by Sci-Fi and USA, unfortunately. So a lot of the cast of Chucky were at a convention. They were at TerrorCon, and when asked about the cancellation, they said that they were hoping that it got shopped to other networks. Brad Dourif, I want to read this quote, said, "I'm not going to tell you about season 4 because it might get done and it's brilliant. You're going to have to get on the internet and make it happen." So that is what Brad Dourif said. So get on the internet and make this happen.
Yeah, let's try and make that happen. Does Don Mancini does he do conventions?
I don't know if he does. But so at this convention, it was Brad Dourif, Fiona Dourif, Alex Vincent, Christina Leese, and Billy Boyd all appearing on a panel.
Billy Boyd, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
I wonder if Billy Boyd is doing more Hobbit business than...
I'm sure he's doing more Hobbit business than Glenn and Glenda business. But I mean, he's still technically
a big part of the transitional years. No pun intended with that, but the transitional years of Chucky from Bride into Seed.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a pivot point in the series.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so he was a big part of that.
Yeah, he was definitely a big part of that, and I like that they still include him in on these things.
I think Billy Boyd. Okay, now if we're taking Samwise out of the equation, Samwise Gamgee, I think Billy Boyd might have played my favorite Hobbit. Yeah. You're Sam forever.
I'm Sam forever. I don't
Sam.
really care for most of the Hobbits other than Sam. So,
we have more Chucky news up next.
We do have more Chucky news up next. So Chucky's getting his very own documentary next month.
Yes.
On November 1st.
It feels like that happened quickly.
On Shudder.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
The same people who did the Freddy documentary. What is Never Sleep Again?
Never Sleep Again. It's going to be called Doc of Chucky.
Of course it's going to be called Doc of Chucky.
And I'm so excited about it.
I know this is going to be
I had to wear my Chucky shirt today in honor of all this Chucky news.
You did a costume change. You had a full costume change today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to put Chucky on.
Yeah.
To represent. So this is going to be made by Tommy Hudson, who was responsible for Never Sleep Again, The Elm Street Legacy, and Crystal Lake Memories, the complete history of Friday the 13th. So this is going to be, I think, an extensive doc. I'm so excited for this.
Now, we have Crystal Lake Memories, although we bought it in advance of possibly, we can't commit to this right now, possibly covering the Friday series in the near future.
Right.
Do we give a spoiler about what we have coming up, at least for franchises?
I mean, you can certainly do that.
I think this month is going to be our ranking of the Halloween series.
Yes.
We have already started the research process.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
We will.
But we revisited one of our lesser favorite Halloween movies and was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Absolutely.
But this is a great plug for another Chucky doc. If you've not seen it yet, Living with Chucky is a great Chucky documentary as well.
That's a really interesting documentary because it's not, I mean, Chucky is, he's present throughout the whole thing. He's like a prevalent force, but it's mainly about the folks who made the documentaries and how working on the Child's Play films and working with Don Mancini changed and affected their lives. Sometimes for good and sometimes for bad.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't, it's a fair documentary. It doesn't paint a rosy picture of Child's Play unnecessarily.
I love it. I thought it was really great, but Child's Play is my favorite franchise. So, of course I'm going to love it. But if you've not seen that documentary, I definitely recommend that you check that out as well.
That is worth your time.
Before you get to Doc of Chucky coming on Shudder. So this is another plug. If you don't have Shudder yet, 31% off in the month of October for an annual membership.
I feel like we need to say, as we always say, we are not sponsored by Shudder. But if Shudder would like to sponsor us, our email is on our link tree. You can find that on our About Us or our community page.
Shudder, if you're listening.
Yeah, Shudder, if you're listening. we are out here fighting the good fight for you.
Indeed. All right. Big news again this week. Stream has a VOD date.
So you may notice a new addition here on the Nerd Nook in the set. If you look closely, up here above Ghostface, next to Lou Diamond Phillips. Don't mind Lou Diamond Phillips.
Don't mind the Lou Diamond Phillips.
Lou Diamond Phillips
corner.
blesses the studio. Lou Diamond Phillips is a great dude, and we were very excited to meet him. But up there on the wall, you will see the mask, the player mask from Stream. Now, we saw this in the theaters. We've talked about it a lot. There's a review. Go back and watch our review of it. It's actually, we found it to be a compelling film, I think.
Yeah.
We can't wait to purchase it. Now,
Yeah.
I do think that it snuck past the Amazon.
Yeah, but it's down.
Is it down now?
Mhm.
Some people had a chance to buy it yesterday or on the 1st.
On the 1st.
They snuck it in. We're waiting. We're waiting
We are.
patiently because if you don't know this, Fandango at Home, formerly Voodoo, benefits independent filmmakers a little bit more. I think they get the highest cut, the highest percentage of the purchase from Fandango at Home. And so we've started building out our library there when we're building out our library. And just some ickiness about ads with Prime, with free
Yeah.
Prime videos. We're just moving away from the A company. Now,
The A company.
the A company. Now, that said, today is also Terrify Your Tablet Day. If you search for Terrify Your Tablet, I got 50 free
Ooh.
books on Amazon today. 50 free horror novels.
Crazy.
Some of them I'm hoping are good enough to cover on this channel.
Yeah.
But so yeah, if you are an A company person, or if you're Barnes and Noble, they have it for Barnes and Noble.
Ooh.
Terrify Your Tablet. Give it a quick search. It's going until midnight tonight, and you can get 50 free books. There are discounted books as well. I literally, the number was 50 at the end of the day. I looked.
That's
I checked my
crazy.
Kindle. I was like, what's uncategorized?
So Stream's going to be available on Fandango at Home, Amazon,
Google
iTunes,
TV.
and Apple TV starting October 15th.
Yeah.
So on October 15th, definitely pick that up, especially if you're looking to watch along with us on our 31 Days of Halloween. If you've not seen that video yet, after you're done watching the live stream, check that out in our playlists.
Yeah. It's going to be under our horror list, or you can find it right on our channel. It may even be recommended for you at the top of the page. Who knows?
Who knows?
But yeah, it's under our videos. You can find it. If you're playing at home, if you want our full list,
playing
if
at
you're playing at home, if you want our full list of movies that we're watching, we've broken it out by week and we've broken it out by year. And there are statistics at the bottom that tell you how many movies from each decade we're watching this month. And it was actually pretty surprising to me. I mean, I wasn't surprised at the one that has the highest number of movies.
Same.
But I was surprised that there were a few decades that felt a little underrepresented as
Yeah,
well.
we definitely went back and forth on this list quite a bit because we wanted to try and even things out a little bit.
Yeah. There were some movies that didn't make the cut. Some of my one of my favorite movies didn't make the cut. And that's kind of a bummer.
You can still watch it.
I'm probably going to watch it before I go to bed tonight. If that's not the biggest clue, I don't know what is. If you've been watching these live streams, you know
which movie Vince falls asleep to.
Yeah. And honestly, we should talk about that a little bit. That came out on 4K and Blu-ray on September 24th, I believe.
Yeah.
We just got our copy of Long Legs yesterday. Now, we had it streaming, but we archive some of our favorite movies, and I think Long Legs makes that cut as one of our favorites.
Well, obviously, because we have the Blu-ray now.
Absolutely. We have the 4K Ultra, to be honest. And Oz Perkins does a fantastic job with that movie. I think that it may have been overhyped in some aspects.
Right now, is it your favorite movie of this year?
Hard to say.
Ooh,
Oddity was a fantastic movie.
I was going to say Oddity is up there for you.
Damien McCarthy and Oz Perkins are both becoming two of my favorite horror directors.
Mm-hmm.
Damien McCarthy used to be an electrician, just working out there wiring stuff, which explains a lot about why so many people like wandering around in the walls in his movies. But yeah, no.
I've not seen Caveat yet, but that's also on our list to watch this year. So I'm waiting until then to watch Caveat.
If you want to check out our list, there is a link in the bio or in the description of that video that will allow you to download a PDF copy of our entire list, play along with us. And then what you can do is after you've watched the movies, and feel free to reach out if you need to know where these are streaming. If you don't feel like Googling it, just comment. We'll let you know where we're watching it or where you can watch it. And if you have to pay for it, we'll let you know that too. But if you want to play along with us, you can watch our shorts. They come out the day after. So today was day 3. We did day 2's Hellfest. Tomorrow we'll do day 3's Terrifier.
Yep.
And day 1 was Trick or Treats. Gotta love Trick or Treat. Gotta love the Pumpkin Boy.
So much fun. We'll talk about it a little bit later.
We got more news.
We do. We've got a bunch of trailers that dropped.
Yeah.
So let's just go through them.
Quickly hit them all.
Ghost Game. So this was a surprising one. So this is directed by Jill Gavragizian. a screenplay by Adam Caesar, who wrote Clown in a Cornfield, which you just read.
I'm Team Adam Caesar. I can't wait to read Influencer, and I gotta read the other two Clown in the Cornfields. There's
Mhm.
Friendo Lives and like Church of Friendo. I gotta read them both.
Right, and Eduardo Sanchez is executive producing this movie.
It's probably not like right for me to reach out to like say this out loud, but because the project kind of fell through. But
Yeah.
I reached out to Eduardo Sanchez for some mentorship on a project, and the guy actually like he's like, hey, email me. I'll help out as much as I can. What a generous human being.
Yeah.
Like just Eduardo Sanchez is a class act, true gentleman. I will watch anything. I still need to see Satanic Hispanics,
Yeah.
but I plan to
I
watch
will watch
anything.
anything that he does.
Yeah, and I still need to see Satanic Hispanics, unfortunately. But no, if you sit me down and say we're going to watch an Eduardo Sanchez, I'm going to say let's do it. I will not push back on that at all.
Yeah. So this is coming out limited theatrical release on October 18th, and then it is coming to VOD on October 22nd.
Yep.
So this was kind of a surprise. Did you get a chance to watch the trailer?
I did get a chance to watch the trailer. Michael C. Williams from Blair Witch Project is in this film.
Yes, he is.
Michael C. Williams, another class act. He's
Yeah.
out here teaching acting to young people.
He'll also be at Scarefest.
I can't wait. If you look behind me, we have I did an Instagram signing with Michael C. Williams. With
Michael
Mike.
C. Williams.
He did not kick anything into the creek during the signing. I was disappointed.
Yeah. But this trailer looked interesting.
I think the premise of the movie's interesting. It
Mhm.
seems like it's about folks who play this internet challenge game
Yeah.
where they sneak into and live in a house without the homeowners knowing, and they choose their next big target is a haunted house.
Right.
And there are other
Shenanigans
people.
ensue.
There are other people
Yes,
living in the house unseen.
There are other
entities.
people that are
Yeah.
also playing their own kinds of games.
Ghost games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie looks interesting.
I liked it.
Definitely give it a watch.
Yeah. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah,
I may have to wait
interesting.
until after October. Our docket
Dude.
is full. We gotta cram in the houses October built. We
I
have to
know.
cram in we have a lot of
There's
stuff
so much stuff.
outside of our 31 days.
I know.
We're putting back like 2 to 3 films a day a
It's
piece.
crazy.
I
feel like I'm losing my mind.
I don't. I
And
feel like I'm in heaven.
we're already like 3 days in, and I'm like, woo, buddy.
If you're watching this, you're giving me the excuse to better bring you content. You're giving me the
Yeah,
excuse
right?
to fully engage with this stuff, and we are having a blast.
We are.
Honestly, I can't tell you how. And again, I could see how people get burnt out on this, but
Mhm.
we are so energized by this right now.
Yeah.
I can't say how exciting this is.
You know what else made me super energized?
What is that?
The Nosferatu trailer dropping. Holy moly.
I didn't know I needed that in my life. Like I was like, okay, Dracula, okay, Nosferatu.
That trailer looks insane.
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård.
Every week we find a way to
I will
drop.
always find a way.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård. I call him Bill Skarsgård because he's so good in every horror movie I've ever seen him in.
Just wait until we actually review Nosferatu.
It's gonna be difficult for me to actually do that with a straight face. Live streams are one thing. You can't be like Bill Skarsgård
I
starring in
know.
Nosferatu.
Yeah.
I know. I'm gonna have to keep it together. We watched a trailer off the cuff here. We watched the trailer for The Inn.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, the producers, is it Greasy Boys Productions? I think that was who it was. Reached out to us on TikTok and asked us to check out their trailer, and I said I would. And I said I would promote it as best we can with our current content schedule, but I wanted to give it a little love tonight. The Inn looks interesting.
It
looks
does.
scary.
It looks interesting.
Interesting killer design, interesting killer
Yeah.
mask. It looks like the cast is young and it looks like they're having a good time with this film.
Hey man, sometimes that's all you need is folks having a good time and putting their heart, soul, and energies into something. And
The vibe, that's exactly it. The vibe took me back to when we were doing horror theater. The
Mhm.
kind of special effects that we were making, the kind of like execution, all hands on deck vibe that it had.
Yeah.
I don't know when this film is going to come out. It was supposed to come out this year, but it seems like the producers are saying early 25.
Mhm.
We'll let you know about it because our whole point of doing this, outside of being energized, outside of giving you all a horror digest on Thursdays,
Right.
outside of bringing you reviews for independent films, is to really uplift these voices.
Yeah.
We were independent artists. We were
Yeah.
running a theater company with very little outside support. We relied on box office. We relied on board funding. It was difficult.
Mhm.
And so knowing what these folks are going through to get this thing from the script to the funding to the screen
Right.
to release,
Yeah.
we relate to it. Although theater's different, we know what the process feels like.
Yeah.
And so we want to be sure that we're giving you the information so you can go out and support them, and we're uplifting them and being a light in the community. It's really important to us to be a positive voice for independent artists and for independent horror across genres, across forms of media.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I sprung that one. That one wasn't on the list.
No, that's okay. That's good. That was good. I forgot to add it.
It's okay.
I apologize.
I apologize for springing it on you.
The last one that dropped, and this is I maybe horror adjacent. I don't know. We've covered it before. Dark Corners. This is
Ah.
the new Kate Siegel.
I don't think it's horror adjacent. I think it fits nicely into a
It's
little corner.
It's kids horror.
Yeah, but we literally had a copy of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark in our hands yesterday.
I know.
We were literally about to buy. I have to go into our storage and see if I don't
I
have my copy from the
know.
90s. But we want to make sure we have it whenever Spooky Baby is old enough,
Yeah.
when she's like 10 or 11 or 12 years old,
Right.
so that we can introduce her to horror in the same kind of traumatic way that we were introduced to
Absolutely.
horror.
That's how you do it.
Oh,
But yeah, Dark Corners dropped their trailer. This looks so interesting. It looks like it's going to be so much fun. I honestly can't wait to watch it. They are going to be dropping episodes on October 21st, and new ones are going to be continued to be released until Halloween. This is Kate Siegel, Chris Fox, Stephen King,
Paul
Paul
Tremblay.
Tremblay, Alana Pierce, and Molly Elfman. I didn't even write all those names down. This is just so ingrained in my brain right now.
We want to cover it in whatever way we can for you. So if it's just doing episode reviews, like all of them once they're all out,
Yeah.
some pre-coverage, we'll be talking about it.
Yeah.
And we may be talking about it on a second channel. This is early to kind of release, but Sarah's planning a spooky families channel so that we could talk about kid-friendly horror content. So if you do have a spooky baby out there of your own,
A spooky baby, a spooky child.
yeah, a spooky preteen,
Yeah.
we're going to be giving you reviews and kind of guidance on what sort of horror content is out there, so you can
Right.
introduce them safely in a way that they're interested in a way that won't scar them, like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark scared me.
Well, that's exactly it, right? So the whole purpose of this channel is going to be to introduce you. I'm going to kind of give loose recommendations on what age I think that folks can watch some of this stuff. I'm having fun revisiting some things that I had already
Yeah.
seen. So
I'm having
it's
fun
been a lot
seeing
of
some
fun.
things I'd never seen. Like
Yeah.
I think the childcare had some Halloween Town on today
Yeah, well,
while
you
Spooky
did.
Baby was playing.
Did you watch some of it?
I watched some of it. I saw Judith Hogue.
Well,
I love me some Judith Hogue.
who doesn't?
Right.
Who doesn't?
April O'Neil.
I know. So Robert Englund.
Oh my goodness. He released, there was a video clip that was released by, was it Dread Central?
I think so.
Anyway, they
Bloody
Bloody
Disgusting.
Disgusting, someone, I can't remember the outlet.
I think it was Bloody Disgusting.
It was one of those two major outlets. They interviewed Robert Englund,
Yes.
asking him whether he'd be up for another Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Right. Yeah, and he was like, "Yeah, no, I'm too old to play Freddy," which I think is like the best answer ever.
He said he has a bad neck. He said he could only, the fight scenes he could only do one take. And look, I mean, I appreciate that. That was 40 years ago.
Right.
1984.
Well, that's exactly why it's the anniversary.
Yeah.
So they're doing a 4K release of
Yeah.
Nightmare, and
Speaking of the anniversary, we have this really sick
oh my god,
Fangoria subscriber edition cover of
Yes.
Nightmare on Elm Street here.
so good.
If you aren't subscribed to Fangoria,
We're not sponsored by Fangoria.
we're not sponsored
I
by
wish
them.
we were.
But they have a wonderful community online on Facebook. They have monthly, or I would say like issue-based town
Yeah.
halls where you get to talk to the editorial staff. They just did a town hall with Damian McCarthy, who directed Caveat and Oddity. They did one with Larry Fessenden.
Yeah.
They did one with Stephen Graham Jones.
Yes, they did.
That's honestly what really pushed me over the edge and made me dive into his kind of back catalog.
Right.
So Fangoria has a number of different perks. Oh, also $10 off every month in the Fango store,
Yeah.
which, in
They're
and
going
of
to be
itself.
coming up on the Chainsaw Awards later this
Chainsaw,
month.
we're having a watch party.
I'm very
there.
excited.
Did you know about the watch party?
I did.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. And again, even that Substance mini mag, that exclusive mini mag that they
Yeah.
released with the phone number, all of these are just perks. We're not sponsored by them. We just love them.
No.
They actually reposted one of our videos when we were like gushing about them.
Oh yeah, that's
It was very
right.
sweet. Anyway,
We love Fangoria.
that subscriber exclusive cover was awesome, but they're also doing a newsstand cover featuring Terrifier
Terrifier
3.
3, which we'll probably be picking up.
It's rare that we buy both covers, but Maxine and
Maxine and Longlegs got
Longlegs
us.
was the subscriber, Maxine was the newsstand, and we had to buy both.
That Maxine cover looked
It was so good. They went through and apparently they looked at a bunch of adult magazines from the 80s and 90s or 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And designed the cover based on.
It's so good.
I can't imagine what the HR conversation was around that. Hey,
know,
look at all these adult magazines.
Whenever you're running a horror magazine, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, but he did say, Robert Englund did
Freddy's
say
out, but he would do
an animated series, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, what do you all think about an animated Nightmare on Elm Street series? Would you watch that? I would.
I would. I think that Freddy really lends itself to that because of the dream world. We could really get into some weird stuff.
And Freddy, much like Chucky in that sort of mid part of the series, was like wisecracking, and there was a healthy dose of comedy in the Nightmare series.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it would work. I
think it would too.
You'd have to pick the right animation style.
Yeah, honestly, I think that Titmouse could probably do like a pretty good job with that.
That's an interesting choice. Yeah, I mean, it would have to be dark. It would have to be heavily stylized in some ways. And I think what would be really interesting is you could have the real world animated one way and the dream world animated another. I would love to see it. Just sign me up for it.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly. Say no more.
It sounds like I would be into
Although
it.
I saw a meme today that Devon Sawa reposted saying Devon Sawa as the new Freddy Krueger. And he was like, what do you all think? And I was like, I am in, sir. Say no more.
Look.
I would 100% of I would be there. Look, Robert Englund is Freddy. You can't really, you can't replace him.
No.
But if you were going to, Devon Sawa.
But like, here's my thing. I don't want to have a thing for Freddy. Like...
I think you'll be okay. He'll be in full makeup. I think you'll be all right. No, and Freddy's always dicey for us because, Freddy's backstory is not a pleasant one. I mean, whose really is, you know what I mean? Like, but Freddy's is particularly dark.
Yeah.
And so that compounded with the fact that Freddy lost his way, let's say, after 4, maybe.
Yeah.
Nightmare 4, Dream Master. I don't know that those were like home run films until we get to New Nightmare, which was absolutely a home run in my book. I love New Nightmare.
I love New Nightmare.
The remake, obviously, not that great. Freddy vs. Jason is a lot of fun, but it's not my favorite movie. But
it'll be interesting. I actually do want to go back and we'll cover Nightmare at some point.
We will cover Nightmare. We'll do a ranking of Nightmare.
I don't know when. We can't give you a specific on that. That's probably like a long ways down the line. But
let's get through the Halloween season first.
Well, let's get through October first.
Yeah, we're busy.
So the next bit of news is that there is a critically acclaimed horror film called Fright, and it signed a distribution deal with Indie Rights. So apparently this film was the best at Fright Fest 2024. And it secured a distribution deal with Indie Rights. It's a black and white tribute to 1950s horror, bringing a haunting tale of psychological terror to the screen. It's going to soon be available for streaming platforms. Set in 1937, Fright follows the story of Emily, a young woman plagued by agoraphobia and trapped in her isolated home with her mysterious mother. The film weaves classic horror elements with intense psychological narrative, immersing viewers in its rich atmospheric world.
You had me. I didn't need anything else after Tribute to 1950s horror.
I know.
Like, I love 1950s horror. I'm here for it.
I truly love that a lot of the stuff that is coming out now, we're getting a lot of throwbacks to other things. I'll talk about this whenever I talk about some of the movies that I watched this week because I ended up going down a little bit of a rabbit hole. But like, we're seeing a lot of movies now. Longlegs, another great example of a film that is set in a different time period but still feels super authentic. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I know that like modern horror is modern horror, but like this is still technically modern
Yeah,
horror, right?
Maxine, possibly Cuckoo. The scenic elements in
Who
Cuckoo
knows?
were a little vague.
Time and space is super weird.
Cuckoo was chaos. It was
Um,
just chaos.
but yeah, it definitely sounds like it's right up our alley. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye when this comes to streaming
Yeah.
platforms.
If you watch our shorts, you know that I love 1950s comic
Hmm.
books and the whole 1950s aesthetic. We just picked up a cool piece for the studio here. It's not on camera, but we have a vintage cat like garden hanger that we have hanging from
Yeah,
one of our doors in here, and it is like
it's
it's just
perfect. Yes.
chef's kiss, like 1960s horror mask. It's great.
Well, I put on a couple of little tidbits of information for you because I know how much you love reading your horror novels, and particularly you love reading your novelizations.
Yeah, no, so there are a couple of novelizations that are due out. Tim Wagner's Terrifier 2 is coming out on October 8th.
Okay, did you see that there is
An
an
excerpt. I did see
excerpt
that.
on Variety? So if
Yeah.
you're looking for that,
I reached out to Tim Wagner on Slasher TV, which is a social media app
hmm
just for horror fans. If you're not on Slasher TV, what are you doing? It's a great place.
hmm
Everybody's super supportive. There's a lot of
yeah.
talk right now on other platforms about whether horror people are weird or not.
I mean, sure,
Yeah, you know what I'm
but
talking
like,
about, though, right?
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, but like,
Yeah,
but we're also some of the nicest people. Honestly, like anytime we go to a horror convention, it's always the nicest folks that we run into,
100%.
right?
And that's exactly what I was driving at. Everybody's super cool. Everybody loves. We all have something in common. We all have
Hmm.
this love for horror. It doesn't matter what subgenre,
Yeah,
what decade. We all just love horror, and that's awesome. But uh, Slasher is full of those people who are there to help you. And like, if you have a project, they'll support you. Like, they're great. They're great people.
yeah,
But Tim Wagner's on there, and I told him how excited I was for this because he wrote the Halloween Kills novelization,
right.
and I really enjoyed it. Honestly, Tim Wagner is great. But there's also a few novels coming out as well. The X trilogy will be released,
Yes,
and I believe that's Tim Wagner as well.
I think that you are correct.
Yeah, the
Do
X
we have a
trilogy.
date on that yet?
There are dates. I don't have them in my brain, but they're releasing
In my
sequentially.
brain.
Yeah, no, I don't have them
I don't
off the
have
top of
them in
my
my
head.
brain.
Yeah, no, but they're releasing sequentially. So it'll be X, and then it'll be Pearl, and then Maxine.
Right.
And the cover art looks like old pulp novels. They're
Mm.
fantastic. So yes, long story short, I will buy Terrifier 2. I wish they would do Terrifier, although I can't imagine that book reading experience is anything but disjointed.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, if you're looking for a pre-order, Titan Books has the pre-order of the Terrifier 2 novelization. Like Vince mentioned, it does come out on October 8th.
Over on my bookshelf over here, which you can't see, it's behind our Halloween tree. We have the children's version of 1978 Halloween. We have
Yes.
Halloween 4. We have all of the Blair Witch young adult novels. We have the Rustin
Hmm.
Parr Diaries and the dossier for Blair Witch 1 and 2. And some of the Twin Peaks books as well. We have Laura Palmer's Diary, A Guide to Twin Peaks. And we have the two that were released after The Return.
Well, there's another one coming out on paperback later this
What
year.
do you got for me?
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh, yes!
It's coming to 4K with the paperback novelization included.
We'll probably be picking that up.
So it's the 40th anniversary of Silent Night, Deadly Night this year. So Screen Factory is doing a 4K Ultra Blu-ray release. And it is going to have celebrates 40 years of ho horrifying frights.
Scream Factory is doing some great stuff. I still stand by the fact that their transfer of Halloween is my favorite version of the film.
Yep. Pre-orders are available now. It's going to be coming out on December 10th, so just in time for some December
Oh,
watching.
I know what a good Christmas present for me would be.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's going to come with that novelization, and apparently it was out on hardcover. So this novelization had been out, but it was only available for hardcover. So this is the first time the paperback is actually going to be available.
You know, I have how much time I've spent tracking down like digital copies of the Halloween
Mm-hmm.
novelizations
I
as
know.
well. There was a really cool Halloween 5, what is that, Revenge of Michael Myers novelization that was a
Mm-hmm.
fan novelization. And then
Mm-hmm.
it got like taken off the internet, but you kind of gotta, yeah, if you look around enough, you can find some really, really great stuff out there. Halloween, Halloween 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever found Halloween 3.
I don't know.
unfortunately. Anyway,
The last bit of news is that Scream 7 is releasing in February of 2026.
what a debacle this has been. And first and foremost, to say it on the internet, we support Melissa Barrera.
Yes.
Like, we think it was a shame what happened. It seems like most of the cast members we've met
Mm-hmm.
support Melissa Barrera as
Yeah.
well, and most of the cast members we've seen online support Melissa
Mm-hmm.
Barrera. So it's just what a bungling by Spyglass
Yeah.
to not finish that trilogy. And then on top
Mm-hmm.
of it, now because of scheduling, because of rewrites, because of a ground up rewrite,
Right.
new director, which I'm excited for Kevin Williamson. I'm excited for Neve Campbell.
Yeah.
She's a lovely person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Um, she let us skip the line because we had Spooky Baby with us. So
Yes.
yeah, you're good people in my book. I'm excited for the movie generally speaking, but this is just it feels like a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Scream 6 was a hot property.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of folks loved it. A lot of folks didn't.
Yeah.
One of our hot takes in our horror hot takes video is that we think the ending of Scream 6 is awesome.
If you've not seen our horror hot takes video, you can check
Yeah.
that out after you watch this live.
Yeah, that was a really exciting video for us. It got a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of love,
Yeah.
a lot of controversial love. Most of our
Uh-huh.
hot takes are pretty positive.
Yeah.
It's like things that we love that other people
Exactly. We're like, we love this
hate.
thing.
Yeah, right. But yeah, the chance to strike while the iron was hot, and I feel like they dropped the ball, and that's to the detriment of the series, to the detriment of horror as a whole. I think if
Mhm.
you know, we're in the middle of a renaissance right now. Is this soapbox time? Am I going to go on my soapbox like every
Probably.
week? We're in the middle of a renaissance right now, and we're getting good horror movies. Horror is almost mainstream.
Mhm.
We can't go a week without a new horror release or surprise horror releases. We all have to remember this isn't going to last forever. This is going to stop at some point, and it's going to fall out of fashion. It's going to go the way of the Marvel movies, where we're seeing a trickle out, but it's not nearly as intense as it was with 8-9 films in
Mhm.
2 years. We have to appreciate it while we have it. We have to support these projects. And when a project bungles like this, it's to the detriment of the entire genre, because if we let excitement fail or if we let excitement fade, then we'll get less movies. Less people will show up at the theater, and less theaters will be showing horror films. And so if we want this to continue, we gotta be behind it. We gotta put our attention where our mouth is, not even our money. You can wait for streaming, and not everybody has the resources to see every movie in theaters. We certainly don't have the time resources. And so you have to put your money where your mouth is, your attention where your mouth is, to keep this train on the tracks. Will there be horror fans after this horror renaissance goes away? Yeah, we're not going anywhere. We made it through. If you're as old as me, we made it through the satanic panic in the 80s and 90s. We're not going
Mhm.
anywhere. But we do have to kind of sustain this renaissance that we're seeing, and it is a great time to be a horror fan. And if you're a new horror fan, welcome. If you like one horror movie ever, if you only like one movie, you're a horror fan, welcome. It's a big tent, come on in. There's no gatekeeping here, not on this channel at least.
No.
We're excited to have you, but we need you to keep this going. We need you to keep this on the rails.
Yep. Yeah. 100%.
That's my soapbox.
I appreciate you. Scream 7 is set to release February 27th, 2026.
A bungling.
I'm, you know, I have very mixed feelings on it. I'm very excited to see your monster with Melissa Barrera later
I am
this month.
so excited for that.
All right. What are we watching and reading, Vince?
So I've been editing a ton, and I've been recording a ton. I've been
Right.
pumping out 2, sometimes 3 shorts a
I know.
day,
You're,
at least in
you're
production.
you're really tossing them out there, buddy.
If not releasing 3 shorts a day, definitely producing 3 shorts a day.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of content out there. Plus long form videos. We had
Right.
2 come out in 4 days.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen our horror hot takes and our 31 days of horror, 31 days of Halloween, check it out.
Yep.
And you know, even just promoting friends and promoting
Right.
independent projects through our shorts. So I've only watched movies that you've watched. I've watched our
Oh,
31 days
wow.
commitments.
Okay, well, let's talk about them first, and then I can
Yeah.
I can jump into what I was watching without you.
So
Trick or treat?
Yeah, trick or treat. Let's start with trick or treat. Let's start with trick or treat.
Trick or
We have our little
treat.
trick or treat props here to set the tone. What's not to love about this movie?
I know.
You
It's
know?
so good. The vibes are so good for this movie. It really feels like autumn distilled into one movie.
There's a problematic sequence in the middle of the movie,
Yeah.
which is kind of tough and tough to watch, tough to talk about. I think in hindsight, you know, however many years later, that was 2007. So however
2007.
many years later, almost 20 years later, it plays a little differently. Oh my goodness, I'm so old now.
I know.
It plays a little differently. That said, I don't fault it for being of its time.
Right.
And you're right, the vibes are spot on. I think we should all talk a little bit more about Brian Cox's performance in that movie.
It's so
I don't think we
good.
talk enough about how Brian Cox is in that movie, period.
I know.
Let alone how good of a performance he gives. Yeah, and Sam has any horror, and I'll loop Sam in as a supernatural slasher. I think he qualifies, although he's not in the driver's seat for some of it. I think he does enough slashing. He does enough.
He does enough
stabbing,
you know,
slashing. I don't know,
slicing
what
and
am I doing?
dicing.
Yeah, what am I doing? To warrant himself in that pantheon. But has any slasher made such an impact with one film?
I don't think so, because Sam, again, you can't go to Spirit
Right.
Halloween without seeing Sam merchandise, and it's been like that for a long time. This film quickly became a cult classic and one that is deeply beloved by the horror community.
That's honestly probably why I slept on this film for as long as I did. We watched this 14 or 15 for the first time. We slept on it for a while. First of all, we thought it was a kids movie.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was a kids movie.
And it distinctly is not a kids movie.
Because whenever you look at Sam, he looks so cute and he is adorable.
And we're talking about the rules of Halloween,
right?
And it just you know, some of the marketing and some of the licensing and merchandising makes it feel like a kids movie, but it's absolutely not. It is.
No.
It is.
No, it is not.
It has some gore. There's some nudity in it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not a kids movie. I wouldn't show it to Spooky Baby until she's
No.
well into her teens.
Yes.
But I think it turned me off that I saw him everywhere, and I'm much more open-minded in my old days. If something's popular, I'm not going to be like, "Meh, I don't like it because it's popular."
Right.
I'm going to be excited about it because it's popular.
Yeah.
We got to support horror. But yeah, Sam is an instant icon.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping the second Trick or Treat gets out of development hell.
Yeah.
I really am.
At a certain point, yeah, I too hope that, because I think that there is more to be told.
There is there's an omnibus of comics out there. If you're
know.
looking for this, check this out. They're out there at most major booksellers. We saw them on the shelf at Barnes and Noble. And it's not only the movie distilled into comic form, but there are supplemental stories. I think there are 3 other stories in there, and they just did a Kickstarter 2 years ago to get it published in hardback with some like supplemental stuff. I did the digital copy. We have a digital. I don't know if you know this. We have a digital copy.
Did not.
Yeah, it's
learning new things here tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
It's in the drive.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's check that out.
Honestly, one of the backer benefits was a cool desktop background, and it's the background on my Chromebook, and has been since I got it delivered.
That, yes.
Yeah, that's Brian Cox's house.
Oh, it is. Oh, yes, it is.
Yep.
Okay. We're learning new things here tonight.
Everyone's learning.
That's so lovely.
So we watched Trick or Treat. We love that film. It is a Halloween tradition, and we're really excited to share it with you all.
Yeah.
Check out our short on it. I give a much more concise version of what I just said. But tell me what you think. Leave a comment there. Leave a comment here. Whatever you like.
Then we watched Hellfest.
We did watch Hellfest. This is another annual tradition since 2018. We heard about this movie shortly after it hit VOD.
Yes.
And we grabbed ourselves a copy of it.
Yes.
And every year we give it a watch.
Yeah.
And we really love haunts. So we talk about this all the time. You're probably bored of hearing us talk about how much we love haunts, but we love theme park haunts.
Yeah.
We went to Cedar Point.
Yeah.
After we got married. To go dig those vibes, take those vibes in. So this is like a little bit of a distilled version of that for us. It's a nice like hit of theme park haunt.
It feels like nostalgia for me, and so like the movie itself, the writing is a little uneven sometimes, and some of the characters are a bit annoying at times.
There are a couple that are insufferable.
There are, and it's not even just like a couple. Like I would say most of them are pretty insufferable on the whole, and they make very stupid mistakes in this movie.
But I feel like each one of those performers was having a good time on set.
100%.
There's like an improvisational tone to the dialogue, and you could tell that they were just riffing with each other, and that they had a good relationship on set, and they were having fun on set, and that makes me have a good time.
And Tony Todd is in this movie, guys.
Yeah, let's just stop and acknowledge that Tony Todd does all the voiceovers for the park, and he makes a brief appearance in the
as
film.
the carnival barker.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this film is honestly it it is a lot of fun. And so if you're looking for something that you can just kind of mindlessly watch,
Yeah.
Hellfest is great. It's a fun slasher. It's fun because the killer really sort of blends in with a lot of the other scare
Yeah,
actors.
security is just useless to help them because who are they going to go after? A guy in a mask? I mean, and that's what really makes it scary insofar as this movie's scary,
Yeah,
is that this could happen if somebody was twisted enough.
right.
And there's very little that anyone can do to prevent it.
Yeah.
One thing about this movie that kind of drove me up a wall is like the killer gets his weapon from a guy making shaved ice. I cannot imagine any haunt having a knife that was unattended in any capacity like that. He just like walks past like, I'll just
He's
take
like, oh,
your,
boop, boop.
and I was like, yeah, what is that? What was that? No,
I
no,
know.
no. Who would do that?
I know.
Who would you prep the food somewhere else, man?
Crazy. Crazy. But a good movie.
Doesn't detract.
If you've not seen Hellfest, I highly recommend it.
The number of walkthroughs, like haunt walkthroughs, will just it'll scratch your itch if you want to be at a haunt that evening. Just put it on; it'll scratch your itch.
Yes. So then we also watched Terrifier, the original Terrifier.
I cannot tell you the number of times I've seen this movie,
Mm-hmm.
and every time it feels like a grindhouse movie to me. I always forget how grindhousey it feels, like the grainy cinema, the grainy film,
Yeah.
the just total exploitation of it. Art's meanness. It
Yeah.
just feels like a grindhouse movie to me, and that's not a criticism. That's a compliment. I think, first of all, we understand what it takes to get a movie from concept idea to to delivery.
Mm-hmm.
And Damien Leone has like moved mountains and worked miracles with this.
So this was the first time that I had watched this movie since we saw Stream, and Michael Levy, who directed Stream, is in this
Is he the
film.
janitor?
He plays the second janitor that comes in and gets
That's
So
funny.
I was like, oh hey.
He's a great guy. He's so engaging with his fans.
Yeah.
If you get into the Join the Stream Facebook group, you can he'll interact with you. It's the coolest
he's
thing.
great. And yeah, it was really fun. The thing that I love most about these films, and Stream included in this, is that all of their friends do these movies with them, and it feels just like so much
It's like
fun.
a bunch of dudes from New Jersey.
Yeah, it's just like
great.
a bunch of dudes from New Jersey making some horror movies. Like I freaking love it so much.
And the reason we picked this is because, again, you can't leave the house without seeing Art the Clown.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Terrifier already and want a little context to what the buzz is about, jump in with us, watch our short. We'll give you a little bit more context. If you're looking to get ready for Terrifier 3, which comes out on October 11th, hopefully you're going to see that when you can. This will get you all caught up.
You'll at least get, caught up on Art's origin-ish, sort of.
Yeah.
At least the first movie. It's important to,
I would say,
narratively speaking.
Yeah, this is just, narratively speaking, it's just as important as 2.
Yes. Yeah, but if you haven't seen 2 yet, you should also
You're missing
watch
out.
Terrifier 2. So Vince, the next film that we're going to talk about, I didn't see the entire movie because I fell asleep because I wake up with Spooky Baby early in the morning.
Sometimes I wake up with Spooky Baby overnight.
That's true. So we all have our things. So Hayride to Hell.
Hayride to Hell, starring Bill Moseley and Kane Hodder. Bill Moseley plays Farmer Sam.
Farmer Sam.
Farmer Sam. And Kane Hodder plays Sheriff Jubal. Again, this movie is a B movie, but it's a ton of fun. It is probably, I think it has gone ahead of my ranking for Hellfest for Autumn Vibes. I think it is my favorite B movie for Autumn Vibes.
It's got very good
and it might be my favorite movie about a haunt, including Hellfest.
Yeah.
This is one where the killer is sympathetic.
Mm-hmm.
This is one where you're rooting for the killer.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a weird place to find yourself, but it's an interesting place to find yourself.
Right.
Essentially, Bill Moseley has a family farm. It's 200 years old, and the city council would like to develop that land, or at least a portion of that land, to build some houses and make some money. Bill Moseley's character, Farmer Sam, does not want to give up any of that land, and he says, after much back and forth with the sheriff and with the city council, if I can scare you for one night on my haunted hayride, if I can scare you, truly scare you, I get to keep my farm. If I can't scare you, I'll give you the whole thing. Not just the parcel, I'll give you the whole thing. And they take him up on that weird deal that he's offering. And he exacts his revenge. I don't want to say it's proportional revenge,
Yeah.
but it's certainly revenge. The
Yeah.
only hang up I had with this movie is they introduce a lot of supporting characters quickly in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and they do play larger roles in the middle and end of the film.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of difficult to keep track of who is who.
Yeah.
But Bill Moseley's daughter is in it. I believe it's his daughter.
Yeah, I need to finish this movie. I'm not 100% sure if I say this right now, if this is going to be applicable for the rest of the film, but Budge is one of the best
Oh no,
characters
Budge
in
is
this
one of the best
movie.
characters in the movie. Budge is awesome.
He's great.
But keep an eye out for. You can't miss him. You can't
No,
miss
you
Budge.
can't miss Budge.
That is
He's so good.
That is one farmhand who got a proper introduction, and you were aware of him the entire time.
I love him so much.
Yeah, no, he was great. He was great.
From what I saw of the movie, because again, I fell asleep.
He brings it. He lands that plane and brings it on home. He's great.
I'm so excited now.
No, I highly recommend Hey Ride to Hell. It's available Fandango at home. It's a purchase or a rent kind of deal. But the cool thing about this is that the real Farmer Sam,
Farmer Bob,
what a good name.
I know.
Farmer Bob has a piece of land in Pennsylvania,
Mm-hmm.
and he's had it in his family for a number of years. Farmer Bob has no kids. Now, Farmer Bob has donated portions of his lands for endowments. Some of them are protected from development. Some of them are not protected from development. But Farmer Bob is concerned about his parcel that he maintains as a farm being developed over, and that true American farmland going away.
Mm-hmm.
So he thought he'd risk the farm on writing a horror movie and producing it to raise money to start an endowment that will protect his farm after he's gone. And I think that's pretty noble.
Yeah.
He really, I mean, I don't have any like personal stake in farming. I eat food, and food comes from farms.
I eat food.
But his passion and his dedication to preservation is something that like just spoke to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really glad that we supported this and gave some money towards that cause in a roundabout way.
Right.
Plus, we got a Bill Moseley, Kane Hodder film.
I know.
And this was filmed in 2022.
I know.
2022 it was filmed, and Bill Moseley was out there at cons talking about how he did a movie with Kane Hodder, but doesn't know when it's coming out. And now it's out, and I'll tell you, it was worth every minute. It was worth every minute. I had so much fun watching this movie. I mean, like, there are so many quotable lines. It's on the level of quotable at the Blair Witch Book of Shadows. Blair Witch 2 is on the level.
Well, then I'm gonna love the rest of it.
It's fantastic.
So next up, we watched Halloween 2007, the Rob Zombie Halloween.
And we should clarify, we watched the theatrical cut.
Correct.
That's now available on Shudder. We're not sponsored by Shudder, but
we're not sponsored by Shudder.
Talking about Shudder again. And I was happy to see the theatrical cut. It's been difficult over the years to get your hands on the theatrical cut of Rob Zombie's Halloween, unless you got the big boxed set, which we slept on.
I know.
Which doesn't include the David Gordon Green trilogy, but it was like the complete box set. And honestly, like there are days where I'm on the internet and I'm like, I'm really tempted to like shell out the big bucks and get it, but I probably won't. Regardless, I saw a work print of Rob Zombie's Halloween, which was more similar to, it was a mixture of the director's cut and the theatrical cut. I've seen plenty of coverage of the director's cut. And I don't think I need that in my life. I think there's some scenes in there that are a little bit like upsetting.
Yeah.
And I don't need them in my life.
Yeah, I've only seen this movie once. And once at that point in time for me was enough. And I was like, and I've been talking about how I need to see these movies again.
Well, if we're gonna rank them, we want to be
not
fair.
only that, but like I remember when we went to horror, we went to a horror convention earlier this year, and Tyler Mane was there, and I mean he's a scary Michael, and I remember that. I mean, like that was my big thing. Is like he's a scary Michael.
Yeah, and he's 6'9" tall. He's huge.
Huge, and so like I remember.
Nice,
oh yes, he's very nice. I just remember wanting to rewatch it because I'm like, you know, now that I'm older, like I feel like I'm a little bit more. I wouldn't say that I'm like more forgiving, but
open-minded.
I'm more open-minded now than I was back then. You know, you couldn't get me to watch a Saw film for the longest time.
Saw's great. Saw's on our list. 31 Days of Halloween.
It is. But like I really was surprised at how much I actually liked this movie. There were some issues that I have with the film, and some of the same issues that I had whenever I originally saw it.
Some of the same issues that everybody who covers this film has. But I will say the theatrical version of the movie is a much more pleasant experience and
Mhm.
a surprisingly fun time.
Mhm.
I had a good time with it. Like,
Yeah.
I think some of Rob Zombie's directorial choices could be a little off-putting
Right.
early in the film, and even when we get into the true traditional remake portion, I think
Mhm.
there's some like gratuitous shots, some
Yeah.
exploitative shots that if it were in any other movie, probably would have felt less exploitative.
But because it's a Halloween movie,
Yeah,
it just felt a little weird.
yeah,
But I am interested. Now I'm actually excited to watch Halloween 2.
yeah.
Um, and we'll be watching that at some
Soon,
point soon. So maybe next week we'll
yeah.
be talking about that and then
We also need
look
to
forward
rewatch
to our
Resurrection.
ranking. Oh, God.
We need to, yeah, we need to
Unfortunately.
get through. But let's not say unfortunately. We don't know. Maybe it'll be
Maybe
another
maybe it
pleasant
will
surprise.
surprise us.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think our rankings, our initial rankings, are gonna change drastically. At least at the
No.
top of the list.
Yeah, the top of the
But
list is probably still
we're working on sorting the
intact.
bottom, I think.
Yeah, you gotta sort through the bottom.
Yeah,
So independently of you, first of all, I am reading a novel called The Weight of Blood. And this is I wouldn't say it's like a Carrie remake, but it is a Carrie based story, where we have a girl who is mixed race, and her father is not a nice man.
yeah.
Um,
Has some strong opinions
he has
about
some strong opinions about her
ethnicity.
being mixed race.
Yeah,
So it's kind of an interesting retelling of Carrie, and I've started reading this. I'm about halfway through the novel right now. I'm actually really enjoying it. So that is what I'm reading. But I also watched a few things. So I watched Totally Killer,
I saw that.
and I really liked it.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't strike me as something that would be for me. I don't know. What
Yeah.
do you think?
Um, actually think that you would have a really good time with this film. Kiernan Shipka is
Oh, I forgot she's in
fantastic.
that. She's
Yes,
fantastic.
I
I love her in
know.
Blackcoat's Daughter. And
Mhm.
and honestly, I didn't love her character in Long Legs, but I
Right.
love her performance.
Yes.
I just, you know,
She's very good in this movie. Basically what happens is in her town there were murders that happened many, many years ago,
mhm.
and back in the 80s, and
Another one of those period pieces that we're talking about.
yes, but this is in present day,
Hmm.
and basically the killer comes back and murders her mother, and then starts to go after her. She gets in a time
Yeah, I was gonna
machine.
say there's time travel in this. Yeah.
Correct. They reference Back to the Future a lot. Even the people from the 80s, she's like, "Have you ever seen Back to the Future?" So like it's kind of very meta in that way.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So yeah, it is sort of a period piece, but basically she has to go back and save her mom
Yeah.
from being murdered. And she kind of when you start to go back in time, you can
She
change
butterfly
course a
affected it.
little bit.
Yeah.
So I actually thought I kind of saw the killer coming. However, it didn't lessen my enjoyment of the film. It's a lot of fun. If you're looking for something that is funny and a little bit campy with that slasher element, this is the perfect
I was gonna say
movie.
my favorite neo slasher was Thanksgiving, and we called that killer probably halfway through
Oh
it
yeah.
at the latest.
I honestly I think that you would really like this movie a lot.
I do love these neo slasher whodunit Scream
I
knockoffs.
know.
We're getting like 30-year-olds, like 30-year revitalized Scream knockoffs.
Well, and this one is kind of fun because they throw time travel in there for, good
And
measure.
I like my time travel series. I'm a giant 12 Monkeys fan. I love that
Mhm.
12 Monkeys series. I love the 12 Monkeys movie.
No, but this is so much fun.
I'll give it a shot.
You should.
I will.
I think you'll like it.
I'm going to try and see every movie, every horror movie of the year. So it's on the list.
I think it came out last year.
Well, don't rain on my parade, Sarah.
Lisa Frankenstein came out this year.
I will definitely be watching Lisa Frankenstein.
I also watched In a Violent Nature.
Finally.
So I started watching this film and I fell asleep.
It is a
Again,
very
because
soothing
of Spooky
movie.
Baby. It
Yeah,
does.
it is a
So
soothing movie.
It does, because it's, like, atmospheric. I love how they describe this as, like, an atmospheric
An
slasher
ambiance
movie.
slasher,
Yeah, like,
yeah.
it is very much an ambient slasher film.
I feel like it's like a step above the gulag.
Yes. The practical effects, though, in this movie are really well done.
I that's what I've been telling you. The
Yeah,
yoga scene alone.
they are
The yoga scene alone.
they're very well done. I was very surprised. My biggest complaint with this film, well, I have two. I really enjoy when we are in the eyes of the killer, and
Mhm.
I didn't always love when we got shots where it was like that other people talking about whatever nonsense they were talking about,
Mhm.
and then like we cut back to the
That was the
killer.
exposition. You need
I
the
understand
exposition.
that, but like I don't know. I didn't really I liked actually following the killer a little bit more. And again, if you don't actually show the killer, then what is this
Yeah,
movie,
no, yeah,
right?
you
Like
need
you have to actually show the killer. But and the end scene was a little long.
I think, and I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I think it can support this weight. I think they were trying to create suspense.
I think so, yeah.
I think they were trying to create a jump scare, which never came. And I think that's why I felt unfulfilled. I think if there was a jump scare at the end of that, I would have been happy to spend those 20 minutes with that build up because I felt really tense. I
Hmm.
felt the tension building, I felt the suspense, and then for nothing, well,
Well, I think that what they were trying to do was subvert
yeah, oh
your
yeah,
expectations,
that's fine, but
but I don't know that it landed
it,
for
it
me.
gave me a bit of theatrical blue balls, as it were. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like that's kind of how I felt. Like,
yeah,
but that's a small complaint for something that took a risk and was,
yeah,
I mean, Maniac exists, right? We've seen
right,
things told through the killer's eyes before, but I
yeah.
think they took a risk, and I think they were fairly innovative with it. I think some of the gore and some of the practical effects, the first thing you said was, oh, that first death is off screen real nice, and I was like, just wait, just
Yeah,
be patient
yeah,
because it pays off.
it did, yeah, it really does. They really start to, like, amp it up, and I honestly I did like it. I don't know that it makes my top 5 of the year,
Yeah, I
um,
don't know either,
but it is a good film. I definitely recommend that you check it out. It is on Shudder. We're not sponsored by Shudder.
but we love
Um,
Shudder.
oh, I also on Shudder. We're not sponsored by Shudder. We I watched WNUF Halloween special. Have you heard of this film? Okay.
I have heard of it. Actually, seeing it written out, I was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've
Oh
seen.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen this scrolling through, and I think I've heard some rumblings about it. It seems fun.
It is fun. So, this was made in 2013.
Hmm.
I think the fun thing about this is that it's technically found footage, so I think it would be right up your alley.
I've been known to like found footage.
It is basically a news broadcast on Halloween night. Again, you love movies that are actually set on Halloween.
Looking at
And
you late night with the devil.
right, exactly. And it is this reporter who is going to this haunted house with these like psychics. They feel very much like uh Ed and Lorraine Warren,
Hmm.
you know, of the like the Conjuring. She's clairvoyant and he uses like, you know, some devices to try and get the ghosts. But this house was the site of a murder. This son murdered his parents in the house and he was executed, and this takes place in the 80s. They also have a priest who doesn't want to perform an exorcism, but he's there to perform an exorcism.
Sounds
So
like the end of Exorcist Believer.
I know. Yeah. And there's also a cat in this film.
All right.
But yeah, so they like bring this cat and like they get very upset that she's like that the cat goes missing, and they're like, we can't work without the cat. And I'm like, yeah, that's right, you can't work without the cat.
I was wondering what the selling point. You're like, there's also a cat. I'm like, well, okay, but
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
yeah, it's a big plot
It
point.
is a
I
big
get it.
plot point
I'm with you
in the
now.
film. And interspersed in this, they go to commercial break a lot. So there's like these fake commercials. Sometimes they're fast forwarded through, like somebody is watching this tape. And basically things start to run amok. It's interesting. You really just need to watch it because I don't want to spoil it too much for
Yeah,
you.
it sounds like a
Um,
fun time.
but it was definitely a fun time. It's like an hour and a half. It's not that long. It's a really easy watch.
Yeah.
And if you like found footage, I definitely would check it out. I can't believe I was the first one to watch it.
Yeah.
That's nuts to me.
Well, like I said, my editing schedule's kind of
I
packed.
know. But that's what I've been up to this I've been up to a lot this week.
Yeah. I surprisingly don't have any new novels to share with you. I'm reading The Deep by Nick Cutter right now, but it's slow going. I did fall asleep. I'm listening to it, I should say. I did fall
Mm,
asleep listening to it, and again, had some weird dreams. It's
mhm.
about like sort of a post-apocalyptic world where everybody's getting this virus that causes you to forget sequentially and then break out in sores and then
Hmm.
just forget how to breathe and forget how to beat your heart. They
Oh.
call it the Gets, and this guy is going to travel to this like underwater base
Mhm.
where his brother is stationed to get like some sort of magical cure-all. I think it's called ambrosia. I could be wrong. Like I said, I fell asleep, but it caused some pretty interesting, weird dreams.
Sounds
I
like
wa-
it.
Sarah woke up. I was listening to it on my phone. She woke up. There's a photo of me last night just holding my phone after I turned it off. I turned it off and I fell right back to sleep. I was like, I can't listen to this. So that's yeah, that was me last night. And then Spooky Baby woke up at 4 a.m. and so I had to
Yeah.
go rock her. But
Yeah.
definitely some disturbed sleep last night.
I just want to run through a couple of the movies that are coming out because we have a lot coming out right now.
Yeah, hit the high points. It's
Released today
yeah.
and tomorrow. So New Salem's Lot is on Max today.
Heard some mixed
House
things.
House of Spoils dropped on Prime, starring Ariana DeBose. I definitely want to give that a watch. Also, Hold Your Breath on Hulu. Um, A Different Man is coming out tomorrow,
Yep.
starring
I know
Sebastian
you've
Stan
been
and
excited.
Adam Pearson.
Yeah.
VHS Beyond is dropping tomorrow on Shutter, and I believe that we will be I will be
Yeah,
watching
we have
it.
some time carved out. Both of us have some time carved out for that one. Very excited for that
And
one.
It's What's Inside is coming out on Netflix tomorrow as well.
Is Curse of the Necklace on here? The Curse of the Necklace?
That already came out.
Yeah, that last week.
Yeah,
I heard some interesting things
I
about it.
know, I know. I'll watch it because Henry Thomas is in it.
Yeah,
And then obviously Terrifier 3
on the
drops
11th.
on the 11th, and we have Smile 2 on the 18th, and Your Monster on
Your
the
Monster.
25th, starring Melissa
I'm
Barrera.
very excited for this one. It looks like a horror rom-com, Beauty and the Beast
Yeah.
kind of deal. Very excited.
Yeah, we've gotten so many horror rom-coms this year. I've
Yeah.
watched so many of them, and I'm really kind of enjoying that sort of subgenre. It's a nice palate cleanser, especially if you're like watching something like Terrifier 3 and then you're like, "You know what? I need something. I need something that isn't that."
Yeah. I feel like I'm always going to lean a little darker with my horror, but
Yeah.
I'm never going to turn down a good time, especially if it's horror adjacent. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And Melissa
Absolutely.
Barrera looks like she's giving a fantastic performance
I
in this.
know.
So that's what I'm signing up for is a really good turnout of Melissa Barrera. Still need to see Abigail, but
Yeah, you do.
I know, but like I'm really
That came out this year.
that did come out this year. I will see it. I do think she's grown so much as a performer, and I'm really
Mhm.
excited to watch her growth.
Yeah.
All right, we have about 20 or so minutes left on this stream.
Sure.
You want to play one round of horror
One
trivia
round.
and then wrap it up?
Wrap it up.
All right. So
Now, I won last week,
you did win last week.
but I am not confident in myself this week.
Now there are 5 or so different weapons cards,
Correct.
weapon icons on the cards. You have to answer both questions on the card to receive that card.
Correct.
You then get that weapon. The first person to achieve 3 different weapons wins trivia.
Okay.
So, do you want to pick, ask or be asked, I guess?
I will be asked.
You will be asked. Well, they're both machetes, so you get.
Oh, okay.
All right. What 2002 movie sequel, directed by Guillermo del Toro, featured Wesley Snipes as a half-man, half-vampire daywalker?
Blade 2.
It is, in fact, Blade 2. Roman numeral 2, by the way.
Roman numeral 2.
Bob Clark
Mm-hmm.
directed both A Christmas Story and this 1974 Christmas slasher movie. It's the one you're thinking of.
Is it the one I'm thinking
Well,
of?
maybe not then. I don't know.
Because there are two that I'm thinking
Christmas
of.
Story and 1974 pre-Halloween
Right.
Christmas slasher.
Yeah, so is it Black Christmas?
It is Black Christmas.
See, because I was going back and forth between that or Silent Night, Deadly Night, because we were just talking about
but that has 40th anniversary.
I
so
know.
That would have to be
I know. Well,
1984.
that's why I was like thinking in my noggin. I was like trying to do
You were
math.
mathing.
And I was like, all right, let's get you a machete.
Okay. Let's see.
Which original Friday the 13th film did Jason get his hockey mask?
That's Friday 3.
That is true. Yes. This 1954 film features a prehistoric gill man who kidnaps a scientist named Kay and falls in love with her.
What is the creature from the Black
What
Lagoon?
is? This is not Jeopardy.
You can't, not with that attitude. It can be. All right, let's see. We got a chainsaw or a crucifix. You want a chainsaw or a crucifix?
I don't care.
I'm going to give you a crucifix.
Okay. Sounds good.
Which actress plays a psychotherapist who enters the mind of a comatose serial killer in the 2000 film The Cell? I'm not looking at the back, but would you like a hint? Which actress plays a psychotherapist who enters the mind of a comatose serial killer?
I'm thinking that it's Nicole Kidman. Is it not Nicole Kidman?
It's not Nicole Kidman.
That's okay. I'm fine with not getting this right. Okay. I've never seen this film.
You should. It's it's visually stunning. It's Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, Jennifer Lopez.
Yes.
Do we like Jennifer Lopez right now though?
I don't know. I don't know. I know her tour didn't do well, and I know she's like getting another divorce from Ben Affleck. Is that what's happening? I don't.
You're like,
I don't care. The movie's stunning though. Do you want the second question?
Sure.
What is the name of the sequel to Ridley Scott's Alien?
Aliens.
Plural.
With an S.
Yeah, that's how you make a sequel. You pluralize it.
Yeah. What is the name of Broken Lizard's 2004 slasher film that was released after Super Troopers?
Oh, it's like something about an island. Hang on. Just give me a second. Dread Island? Club Dread. It's Club Dread.
Good job. All right. I know that you know this.
Okay.
Second question. Which J.J. Abrams film had the tentative title 1/1808?
What is Super 8? No? I don't know.
I knew this one.
What is it?
Cloverfield.
Oh, I should have known that. Yeah,
yes.
No, you're right. I forgot that was J.J. Abrams.
Yes.
JJ.
JJ.
Let's flip these in the same direction so I don't have to go through them later. All right. I'm going to give you a chainsaw because you have a machete.
I do. I do, in fact, have a machete.
Okay. What was Eli Roth's directorial debut? It's not what you're thinking.
It's not what I'm thinking.
It's a good cast. People you love in this cast.
Well, it's before Hostel.
Yes, because it's not what you were thinking.
Correct.
They remade it recently, recentishly.
Oh. Cabin Fever.
Yeah, good one.
I was like, wait a second. I know this. Ryder Strong's in that movie.
Yeah, that's why I said it's a good cast.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if I know this off the top of my head. Oh, yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't have got that. What's the name of the half-fly, half-human monstrosity in the remake of The Fly?
I don't love this film, and because I love the original Fly so much.
That end scene bothered the crap out of you, where he's all, "Help me!"
Yeah, that one stuck with me.
I'll tell you, the arm breaking scene in the remake of The Fly grossed me out.
I know. I don't love that film though.
I love Jeff Goldblum.
I do too, but I was like, I don't know what made me think about that film not that long ago. And I was like, I need to rewatch it, but I just remember distinctly not loving it. I don't know what the answer is to this.
It's the Brundle Fly. Or just Brundle. Or just Brundle Fly.
Or just Brundle.
It's just Brundle
just
Fly.
Going by Brundle,
Brundle
now.
Fly. Just Brundle Fly.
I'm going to give you a crucifix.
Oh, sweet.
Because you have a machete. What Wes Craven movie was inspired by the true story of a wild Scottish clan who murdered and cannibalized numerous people during the Middle Ages?
The Hills Have Eyes. I know this.
You
It's
should know
exciting.
the second
Okay.
question too. Which franchise has the most sequels? This is a multiple choice.
Is it multiple choice, really?
Well, it's one or the other. So it's
Okay.
Puppet Master or Child's Play.
That's tough. Okay, so we have 3 Child's Play, then we have Bride, Seed, Cult, or Curse, then Cult. So that would be 7.
Mm-hmm.
Are there 7 Puppet Master films? I mean, Charles Band is just pumping stuff out, so I'm going to go with Puppet Master. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, only because Charles Band is never not making a movie.
Dark Moon Productions, right?
Full Moon.
Oh, Full Moon Productions. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Charles Band.
Charles Band signed. We have a blade mask that's just off camera that Charles Band signed at a horror con.
I knew it was something Moon.
He is a wild man.
He's wild, man.
Okay, for a crossbow. In Friday the 13th Part 2, what does Jason Voorhees wear as his mask?
Oh, it's like a sack.
Yep.
Like a burlap sack.
Okay, a burlap / potato sack
Yeah.
is the listed answer. I would have given you sack, though.
Yeah. Well, I clarified.
Yeah. Who played the main character in the 1957 film I Was a Teenage Werewolf?
Ooh.
I would not have gotten this.
Yeah, I don't think I know who this is.
Chat, anybody want to join in? It's Michael Landon.
Oh.
Stephen Graham Jones' new novel that takes inspiration from that with I Was a Teenage Slasher.
Oh no, there's 2 machetes.
I know. It's
so,
okay.
I'm sorry. And you know both of these. That's the kicker.
It happens.
Who wrote the novella The Hellbound Heart, which inspired the movie Hellraiser?
With any luck, we'll be meeting this person on October 20th or 19th. It's Clive Barker.
Clive Barker. What Stephen King movie stars a teenager with a possessed 1958 Plymouth Fury?
Is that Christine?
Yes. I didn't even look at the answers. I just knew that already.
Yeah.
So, yay for me.
I always forget that's Stephen King, although, yeah, clearly it is.
Yeah.
I always think it's John Carpenter first.
Well, it technically is.
But I always think, like, that's who I go to.
Oh, yeah. No, that's Stephen King.
All right, for a crossbow.
Okay.
In 2007, Rob Zombie directed what remake about a young Michael Myers?
What is Halloween?
What is Halloween? What is Halloween indeed? All right. You've gotten this question every time we've played trivia. After dying in the electric chair and making a deal with the devil, Horace Pinker continues his murderous ways in what 1989 film directed by Wes Craven?
Shocker.
You got it finally.
I will never forget this now.
Like, that's the 3rd time you've gotten that question.
Shocker.
That is a shocker.
It is a shocker.
Up. I'm up.
All right.
You're picking.
Well, because you already have a machete. Oh, and then there's another machete, and I already have one. So this is for the win.
Is it?
It is.
Oh, it sure is.
Yeah, because I'm going to get blocked either way here.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I don't mess this up.
Okay. Good Ash, bad Ash. I'm the guy with the gun. Name the movie.
That has to be Army of Darkness.
That is correct.
Because there's only a bad Ash
in Army of Darkness. I love that movie.
It's a good movie.
What is the name of the biological weapon used to kill the people through their water supply in the movie The Crazies?
I knew this question, but I don't know the answer. I don't think I know the answer to this. That question, this card has come up in the past. The zombie juice.
It's like the name, like it could be a name that a woman would use if she wanted to like disguise what her real name was.
I don't know, man.
Trixie.
Oh, wait. How many women do you know disguise their name as use Trixie as a name disguise? Are you gonna start going by Trixie now?
I'm gonna start going by Trixie now.
Hi, I'm Vince, and I'm Trixie, and welcome to Dread Alert.
We
All
cover
right.
horror across
Yeah.
all forms of media.
In the 1982 movie Basket Case,
Mm,
what does the character Dwayne carry in his basket?
a head,
Can you be more specific?
a shrunken head. It's like it's a head.
Sort of. Is it Belial? I think his name.
Yeah.
It's his Siamese twin.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a head
Yeah.
technically.
Do you want the second question?
I'm
I
not
mean,
gonna. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I can't get this anyway.
In Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers,
Yeah.
what is Jamie Lloyd's relation to Michael?
That is it's his niece.
His niece, indeed.
Yeah, his niece.
All right. Oh, you could block me here.
I'm not going to.
Oh, no strategery on your part.
No, but
Well, this is a
we'll see.
crossbow and a machete, so
Oh,
if you're blocked
goodness.
anyway. You
I mean, I'm
should've-
blocked. I'm just blocking myself
Yeah.
in every direction. Kevin Bacon stars in what 1990 film about a group of people fighting for survival against giant worm-like monsters hungry for
Oh.
flesh?
I was like Kevin Bacon. I thought you were thinking. I was thinking of a different Kevin. That's Tremors.
That is Tremors. What Rolling Stones ballad is sung by the demon Azrael as he possesses bodies in the Denzel Washington movie Fallen?
Time is on my side. There we go. All right. So that
Good
was
job.
our round. I don't know that we have another round of horror
I don't know
trivia
that we
in
do.
us.
But this was
Unfortunately,
great. Vince won
yeah.
tonight.
It's not. I'd like to thank all the people out there watching.
If you're still watching,
yeah,
thank you.
No, seriously. So we do this every Thursday night here, or every Thursday that we can. Sometimes
Mhm.
life happens. If you want to check us out on another platform, well, we'll just name the platform. The stream's over. I don't care if they promote this stream anymore.
Right.
If you want to check us out on TikTok, we're there on Sunday nights.
Yep.
We
Most Sunday nights.
Most Sunday nights. We repost a lot of our content over there, but this is the only place you can find our long form content and the only place you can rewatch our streams.
Yep.
So we appreciate your subscription here. If you aren't subscribed already, please do so. It really helps us out. And as always,
Stay spooky, my friends.